All right, everyone, got the special t-shirt on, ATGC. Get it? AC/DC, heavy metal band, ATGC, jeans, precision medicine. Hey, come on, come on. I make a big effort here. Even got like these very, very large things, which are pretty hard to handle. But hey, some folks said that the small little piece of paper were too small. So here at ATG Digital, hey, we read your complaints, comments, and we try and respond. All right. So today's video, 3 reasons to buy this #1 biotech. But before I get into that, hey, gotta do the disclaimer. Legal stuff is important. So hey, not investment advice, opinion, engagement, information, entertainment, but not investment advice because we have not considered your financial position, risk, or any of the things that are important to you. We are just giving you information on a stock-by-stock basis. So not investment advice. Any reference to past performance doesn't mean that future results are guaranteed or certain to happen or will happen at all. Finally, risk is real. Capital loss is always a potential and possible outcome. All right, having said that, one of the other things that I got was that, hey, I need to move these videos along. So, hey, we're going to move fast today. All right. So 3 reasons why this #1 biotech really could soar in 2023. The #1 reason, which I'm going to show you, is huge sales growth, just massive sales growth, which is going to get it into like this elite tier of companies that generate $1 billion in sales. And that is important when it comes to the third reason, which I'm going to get to. Number 2 is that this company is really conservatively financially positioned. You got $2 billion in cash, and the whole company is just worth a little bit under like $11 billion in terms of its market capitalization. Remember, market capitalization is the share price multiplied by the total number of shares. People focus on the share price and think that it represents something, but you've got to get the other piece, which is, hey, how many shares are there? You multiply it by the share price, you get to market capitalization. This company, a little bit over 10 billion, they had 2 billion in cash. So 20% of this company is approximately cash. All right. The third reason to buy into this #1 biotech company is that there is a crazy hot active market going on for biotech buyouts for big gains. And what's a biotech buyout? Well, it's where a big company like Pfizer comes and buys a smaller biotech company. Why do they do that? Well, Pfizer, they're a large company, and to keep their growth going, they need like a lot of drugs into their pipeline. Drugs fail all the time, so they're always buying. So I mentioned earlier that the sales growth for this company is very high. And what are companies like Pfizer chasing? Well, they're chasing sales growth, and they need something big enough to make an actual impact for them. So $1 billion is kind of like where they're like, that's interesting to us. So for biotech buyouts, this company could really be very, very interesting. All right. So give you some examples of biotech buyouts, because of course everyone wants instant fast gains, and you want proof like, hey, Paul, what are you talking about this biotech buyout? So January 9th of this year, a large company called AstraZeneca bought this little company called Syncor Pharma. So before the biotech buyout was announced, Syncor Pharma was trading for about $12, and boom, the day it's announced, $28. So what? 143% gain rapidly, very, very fast. January 8, 2023, this one was one that actually we had in one of our portfolios. Now, we didn't get the entire big gain because we had actually owned it from before, but nonetheless, we actually had this one where this Italian company called Chiesi bought Amryte Pharma. Prior to the deal being announced, stock was at about $15. $7 after deal announced, about $15, so about 111% gain. Again, fast, rapid gains that happen. Another one that was in our portfolio, Sumitomo bought Myovant Sciences. Pre-deal, about 18 bucks. Post-deal, a little over $25, 42% gain. So a company with $1 billion in sales, 2 billion in cash. I mean, I can definitely see someone coming potentially buying. All right. So what is this company? And we're going to put up a few slides here to tell you about the company. The company is Sarepta Therapeutics. Going to grab my notes here. You'll see the description here, which I won't read in the interest of keeping this video short, but they are focused on rare diseases, rare genetic diseases. And you'll see in slide 2 that there are 7,000 rare diseases, 80% of which are based on single gene mutations. In other words, one thing that's wrong in folks' genetic code is what causes these diseases, and just 5% of these really have any kind of like therapy or medication. So it is a huge, massive, massive opportunity. The third slide shows you the 3 technology platforms that Sarepta uses to get at this particular opportunity. And then in the slide 4, you'll see sort of like a basic summary of the company, 40 plus programs. I mentioned to you that, they've got 2 billion in cash. And then they tell you that, they're at the point of generating $1 billion in sales. And so let's just, break that down a little bit. All right. So again, Sarepta Therapeutics, that's the company. Stock price is $121. Remember, folks, many people want to buy very low price stocks so that they can buy lots and lots of shares. But the truth is that low price stocks doesn't necessarily mean a small company. This is a fairly small company. A $10 billion company within the context of the stock market is still fairly small. Remember, the largest company is Apple at $2 trillion. It's fairly small. It's growing very fast. They're hit a certain milestone at $1 billion. So don't be scared off to just buy like 1 share or 2 shares of these companies that many people think are like high price shares. And so because they're expensive. But remember, expensive is relative to the size of the stock market and relative to the size of the opportunity that the company is pursuing. So I want to mention again, okay to just buy 1 or 2 shares. You don't need to own tens of thousands of shares of some penny stock to make money. It's completely okay to buy just a few shares of companies that have stock prices that are in the hundreds of dollars and where you can make hundreds of percent. All right. And I'm going to lay that out for you. All right. Dean, quickly, slide 5, where we're going to show you what the analyst estimates are for this company for 2023. All right. So the low estimate for this company is $1 billion, right? And $1 billion, like I said, important because it's just like a milestone and a marker. If you can get to $1 billion, you're selling a lot of drugs. You have very established sort of business, patient base that is clearly using the drug on a regular basis. In other words, the risk level is much lower than for a company that's got a brand new drug, is just beginning to generate sales. The average estimate, which is essentially just, they take all the analyst forecasts and they just, divide it by the total number of estimates, is for 1.2. And then the high estimate is 1.7 billion. Now, I can tell you from having been an analyst for a long time, this kind of spread between the low and the average and high, when you see this, and if you've known the company for a long time, and I've known Sarepta Therapeutics for a long time, I invested in it myself, a long time ago. We had this at Banyan Hill and made some money in it. So I've been around for a while. So if I were to guess and gauge, I would say Sarepta in 2023, more likely to hit the high number. Because, after you go through a bear market, a crash and growth stocks, well, people tend to be conservative. People tend to sort of estimate lower. And there's a good possibility that, they'll get much closer to that high estimate. So I always tell you that, hey, markets look forward. So while everybody is going to think about like, well, hey, 2023, there's this 30% growth that's coming, potentially 1.7 billion, low side 1 billion. But the truth is that the moment that, it becomes clear that, people are coming back into growth stocks, people start to look forward and they'll start to anticipate where is growth going to be. Forget 2023. They want to start to look forward into 2024 and 2025. So if you want to ever just, make a simple model, all you have to do is just really extrapolate out, based on this year's sales, where sales are going. And Sarepta has a new approval for one of their drugs. So, you're likely to see 15 to 20, maybe even 25% growth, maybe on the upside 30% growth for several years. So I just, model this out. If you go out 3 years at 20%, you get to about $3 billion. At 12 times sales, which is where Sarepta Therapeutics is at today, I would get you to $36 billion, which is about 145% increase in the stock price from where it sits today. So 145%, I mean, that's a pretty hefty, big gain. Now, if someone were to come in and buy them, and there is definitely a lot of interest in companies that are focused on rare genetic diseases. Lots and lots of these, like, big pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, like Merck, like Bristol Myers, they really have a lot of exposure here and they want exposure here. So if that were to happen, well, they would bid the price of Sarepta Therapeutics stock up 50%, 70% in a single day. And obviously, you would have a big gain literally overnight. No guarantees, things can always go wrong, but nonetheless, with 2 billion in cash, a billion in sales potentially at minimum, which is 30% growth, active buyout market. To me, this is a good biotech bet for 2023. Okay, before I end, if you like ideas like this, well, check us out at atgdigital.media. We've got subscriptions that start at $9.99. Sarepta Therapeutics is in our base portfolio, which is our silver tier portfolio, the $9.99 portfolio, which begins at $9.99. All right, so Sarepta Therapeutics, 3 reasons to buy this #1 biotech stock in 2023. There's also a description to my Substack below. And if you don't want to do any of that, I always ask you, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then come back next week for another awesome banger t-shirt and another incredible awesome video. This is Paul saying bye.